Hi guys, it's Frankie from Frankie Tech, and I'm here today, guys, on a very gloomy day in Hong Kong. I wish it was a bit of a brighter day today to do this comparison, but I'm going to do it anyway. So bear with me with a little bit of the lighting here as I do this comparison. But just wanted to do my quick take. It's been 48 hours with this phone here, the Honor Note 10. And I wanted to do my quick take here of my time in 48 hours with this phone, but specifically related as it compares to the Mi Max 3. And this is going to be a kind of a long, meandering video. If you haven't seen some of my earlier videos, it's probably going to be a bit more like that. I probably do more production value on kind of future videos, but I just want to get this one out because this is going to be a classic Frankie, just kind of meandering, kind of just let's see where this video goes. And I have a lot of stuff I want to cover in this video, so I'm going to kind of start going over just the few kind of various comparison areas of each of these phones, but at the same time I'm also going to kind of try to answer questions as they come along. So let's see how we do here in this comparison. But just right off the bat, I can tell you guys that this phone, before I got the Honor Note 10, I had the Mi Max 3 on my trip, and I was really enjoying this phone. The whole experience overall on this phone has been snappy, smooth, enjoyable. The camera, as you saw from all those camera comparison videos I've sent, was great. The battery life has been amazing. The battery kind of recharge time was just over 2 hours. So if you saw that video, you saw that was really incredible. So, this is a lot of phone for the price. And I got this for around just around $250 US. So what do you get out of a phone that is double the price? Well, that's what I hope this video will kind of give you a bit more info and understand if which phone of these is right for you, and what are the reasons that you would pick up the Mi Max 3 versus the Honor Note 10 and vice versa. So let's get started. So first, talking about design, and obviously this is one kind of area where I think the Honor Note 10 definitely takes the lead, but that's not to say that the design on the Mi Max 3 isn't great. Let me turn off the screen and kind of show this phone off. So you can see there, at least from the front, just in terms, let's kind of pick them both up here. First, in terms of the front image there, I mean, you see it there. It is... If you were walking down the street and I just changed the wallpaper on this one, you might not even notice it's a different phone, except for maybe the lower Honor branding there. And the width of the width of these phones is actually very similar as well. The Mi Max 3 is under 8 millimeters. It is really a thin phone. I think it's exactly 8 millimeters, and the actual Honor Note 10 is just about the same. So in terms of thinness, you can see there they are very, very close indeed. Now turning to the backs, and this is kind of where I think you'll see more of a distinction here. It's glass. It's a glass back, and you know what? That can be a pro and a con for certain people. I mean, I think the pros is that it's that glass sandwich design that is so premium and it's so in right now, right? That's like the in look of phones of 2018, to have, well, obviously to have a notch, luckily this one doesn't, and to have this kind of glass sandwich design. And this is, like I said yesterday, it is a fingerprint magnet, but when the light hits it, not on a day like this because it's gloomy as hell over here, but on a nice day it actually will catch the shimmer of the light and is absolutely beautiful. Whereas if you see here with the Mi Max 3, we have more your standard kind of matte black aluminum finish, and this is very similar to the look on the Xiaomi Mi A2. In fact, let's see if I can find it right here in my pocket. Oh, and funny side story, guys. So this Mi A2 I have right here is a brand new unit. And that's because my Mi A2 actually died. It literally started overheating and then just wouldn't turn on. Luckily, I went back to the store and they were able to get me a replacement unit. So this is literally brand new, and I'm kind of glad they did. But anyways, that was kind of a shock there. But more importantly, related to this video, just wanted to show you guys, this is a phone, and this is kind of like the mid-range budget kind of language, you can say, of that Xiaomi is using right now. It's kind of like a generation behind, kind of reminds me of the OnePlus 5 and the 5T in terms of that look. You got that kind of matte finish, and it's not a bad look, you see there. But I think overall, is it as premium as the Honor Note 10? Probably not, so... And now, kind of sandwiching in between design and display as I normally do, I'm going to do a kind of quick comparison between these two phones and other phones on the market. So you can really see the size differential here. I mean, obviously the Mi Max 3 and the Honor Note 10 have a 6.9 or 6.95 inch display. That is kind of going to determine the size of the phone, and overall these things are beasts. You see there, I mean, I think the Mi Max 3 is even slightly wider than the Honor Note 10 there. But let's compare how these kind of stack up against other phones. So we're going to kind of go from small to large here. Stop turning off. And let's get started. Let's start here with the old boy here. If you guys seen this guy on my channel, I've had him for a while. It's the Mi 8 SE. And you see the size differential there, man. Like, it just is totally consumed by these phones. It is no joke. This thing is just totally consumed. So there it is. It is really not that big. So we're going to put this off to the side there. Now kind of let's go a step up. Let's go to the Redmi 6 Pro. In fact, I want to say the Redmi 6 Pro screen is actually, there it is. And this is the actual, the Mi A2, would be considered the Mi A2 Lite phone. So it's actually pretty similarly sized there. So you can see it there. It's actually just slightly bigger than the Mi 8 SE, but overall, it is just not in the same league as these phones. That is a 5.84 inch screen, but you can see it there. It just completely is consumed. In fact, I'm curious here. Can I fit the entire phone in the screen? Yes, I can. How about the other one? Well, obviously, yes, I can. So that's incredible how much bigger these phones are to use here. Now let's go to the next phone. And this one's a little bigger. This one is the Redmi Note 5, the fancy red color, which I promise you guys I'm going to get a video out at some point on this phone. I mean, this is kind of an older phone, but I think it's still worth having a look at in its own video. But you see the size comparison here. Let's put it right next to those. Lower the brightness a little bit. There you go. So you see, it's definitely kind of a step above the other ones. Not by much, but let's see if it fits in the display. Barely, but you can see it there. It actually still fits in the display. Incredible. And man, this phone is just, I mean, the Redmi Note 5 is a big phone, guys. This is a 6-inch display. So just giving you some comparison, just a little bit of relative comparison there. How much bigger these are. They are huge. It's ridiculous. So now let's go to kind of a comparison, though, that I think will be useful, and I think probably a little bit more useful. Let's move these aside there. Actually, no, before we do that, let's kind of bring the Mi A2 back into the fold here. And you can see it there. Whoa, we're running out of space. We are running out of space. You can see it there. Oh, man. What if I just did a giveaway right now? It's like, giveaway for all these phones to one lucky person, and I'm just going to do a live stream in 30 minutes. How about it? Just kidding. That's not happening, guys. I need to pay my rent, if you know what I mean. But let's have a look here at the Mi A2 and how its size compares between these phones. You can kind of see it there. Let's actually pick up the Mi A2 against this phone here. And, you know, this is really interesting because the Mi A2 obviously running that stock Android, but the Huawei with its EMUI, man, it is very much a skinned version of Android. And some people were asking me in the comments, does this have an app drawer? Well, I don't think it does. Let me double check here. I want to say you can actually enable it. If someone in the comment section can find out actually if this does have an app drawer capability, I think it does, but looking at the size comparison continued here, you can see it there. They are actually pretty similar in thickness. The Mi A2 is definitely a little bit thinner. It is it's going to be a 7.3 millimeter thickness, but you see there, does this one fit? Oh no, it doesn't. It's already surpassed it there, and it doesn't fit in the space of the actual Honor Note 10. Let's close that up there. And now let's kind of move some of these Xiaomi phones aside, because this is the kind of size comparison I really wanted to do. And that is against this phone right here. This is the iPhone 8 Plus. This is my wife's iPhone 8 Plus. And there you can see it is a big phone. I mean, honestly, this is looking really old. This is looking really old, but you can see even compared to this iPhone 8 Plus, man, look at that size differential there. In fact, I want to say that the iPhone 8 Plus is actually looking more similar in size to the Mi A2 and the Redmi Note 5 right here. Gonna put this aside here and really compare them. Yeah, you can see there it's definitely not much bigger actually than the Mi A2 there. So this phone used to be a big, I mean, this is a big phone. And like, I remember when I first got the iPhone 6 Plus, I was complaining how big and how kind of unwieldy it was. Well, guess what? It's 2018. And big phones just reached a whole new level. This is not unwieldy. I'm going to say it can still be used in one hand, but just to show you that size comparison there, man, it is insane. And look at the, can this one fit at least in the chassis? Of course it can, because it's smaller. Definitely bigger than the display, but imagine the difference here, guys. This is a 5.5 inch screen. This is a 6.95 inch screen, almost a tablet size. That is incredible to see how far we've come in the actual, let's kind of put a screen up there, in the actual last few years of smartphone design. That shows it right there. Apple, I can't wait for your iPhone 10 Plus, because right now, as this being your only big phone option, you are being left behind. So get on it, and I can't wait to see that phone coming up in the future. So now it looks like the sun is creeping in a little bit through. Thanks, Mr. Sun. I need all the lighting I can get here. Let's continue with this comparison here between these two phones. Now talking about display. So looking at the display of these, the clear difference, you'll see it right now, and I think it's pretty clear even in the video, is that this is LCD and this is AMOLED. And just look at the comparison there between some of the colors. Look at the chrome. Look at the kind of the YouTube Studio colors there. Look at Spotify. I mean, it's not really appearing that much. I mean, it doesn't look that less saturated, the Mi Max 3, but the colors on this are just a lot punchier. But I'm going to try to see if I can show you that the sharpness on the Mi Max 3 is actually better. Let's zoom in there on the YouTube. See as much as we can zoom in here. So I'll show you this one first. The YouTube logo there. There it is. Notice the letters. Notice the kind of just the crispness of the letters. Everything looks pretty crisp, and that's LCD because that's running an RGB matrix there. Now compare it to the ones on the Honor Note 10. Let's zoom in here. You can kind of see it there. Everything's a little more foggy, just a little less crisp. And that's because you have the Pentile matrix on this phone. Now, is that a deal breaker for being able to use this phone? I would say not. I mean, I definitely think that it makes up for it in the colors, in terms of like just the warmness of the display. The viewing angles are great. Everything else about this display is phenomenal. But when you get 355 pixels per inch and you put it on an LCD and you versus an actual Pentile matrix, the LCD is going to win in terms of sharpness. Day and night, like every single time, the LCD is going to win. So for you guys who are really kind of feeling, oh, like I'm kind of missing out buying this phone, well, guess what? You're not missing out in terms of sharpness, because the Mi Max 3 is definitely the sharper display. Is it the more calibrated display? No. Is it the more colorful display? No. Is it the more kind of, vibrant and kind of just the better for like watching images and video? I would say not. But I think the point here, guys, is that it doesn't really matter whether this one is more saturated or not. This is still a great display for watching your content, for watching all your videos, and kind of for just enjoying the experience of this big phone, and just being able to enjoy, big screen, big kind of images, and just have a bigger canvas. It's all about the size of the display, I think, rather than the quality of it. I think the quality here is good enough, that you will not notice it. And the only time you would notice it is if one of your buddies shows up and he's like, yo, check it out, I got the Honor Note 10, my display beats yours. Boom. But guess what? 99.9% of the time, you're going to be rocking the biggest display of anyone in your crew, in the whole, even in your entire town, if you get this phone. And honestly, I think people are just going to be more impressed with that than anything else. Now going into performance, and this is one that definitely I think a lot of people who were comparing these two were definitely thinking, okay, well, I think the Snapdragon 636 is enough for cover my needs versus the Kirin 970. And you know what? I think the truth is you're probably right. And in terms of battery life, I am seeing that this the Honor Note 10 is draining a little bit faster than, I mean, not fast, but definitely a little faster than my Mi Max 3 did. And you can see here, I'm at 48% now. I've been using this phone. Let's kind of show you a bit of the battery usage here. So I've been using this phone for screen on time. Let's see if I can find it. For about almost 2 days now. It's at 48%. That's pretty good. I don't think it's going to make it to the day 4 the way it previously did. But I think overall, here, let's have a look. Let's go to the hardware here. This is what I want to show you guys. The screen on time. 3 hours and 20 minutes. Okay, that's not super great. Now, obviously, I've been kind of using it back and forth. I do have a SIM card in here. As you can see there, all you people who say I don't have a SIM card, there's the SIM card. And I've been testing this phone back and forth. But, I mean, this is the first time I am discharging it. So I do expect probably to get more like 8 to 10 plus hours of screen on time eventually, once I'm using this fully and once it's fully recharged. But look, it's at 50% and it's 3 hours and 20 minutes. That would mean that I think by the end of usage, this phone is probably going to get into the 7-8 hour range for its first charge. That's not terrible, but I know that's not as great as what you guys were hoping for. Meanwhile, Mi Max 3, you saw my kind of battery usage of it. I'm not going to share my battery usage now because I haven't been using it as much as I've been using the Honor Note 10 recently. But you remember those battery kind of rates and those kind of percentages I was getting. I was easily in the 10 to 12 hour range later on. And you know what? I think honestly, this phone has a phenomenal battery. And I think it's something that you will not miss if you get this phone over the Honor Note 10. So if you're one of those people who loves battery life and cares about that, then you'll be totally well served by the Mi Max 3. Now, talking about power, yes, I think the reason why this is such an expensive phone, it is rocking a flagship processor, guys. This is the 970. The 980 has not been released yet. The P20 Pro is one of the top selling phones in the world. It just they just overtook, if you saw Unbox Therapy's video, they just overtook Apple as number 2 in the world in terms of smartphone market share. They are making moves, and honestly, to be running the same flagship processors as the P20 Pro here in August, I mean, it's great. The performance is awesome. It's not the best chip. Yeah, it's not the best chip, but you know what? It is a great chip. It is a really great chip, and only bound right now by the kind of crappy internet in the secondary room I'm doing this in. But you can kind of see things load very, very quickly. There's no issue. Camera is probably the easiest way I can show that to you. Things load, Look at that. Look how quickly I'm taking those photos. It's a great performer. So don't feel like you're missing out, but that's what you're really paying for here with the actual 970. And I can tell you guys right off the bat, you see a screenshot here. Let's just do quick Geekbench comparison here between these two bad boys. And there they are. So, I mean, is it slower? Yeah, it's a little bit slower. Multi-cores and in single-core performance. But is the Mi Max 3 like a slouch? Is it going to give you problems? Is it going to be something where you're going to be like, gosh, I really wish I had kind of the bigger phone? No, I would say for overall daily usage, probably not. If it relates to actual gaming performance, if you want the PUBG phone of all PUBG phones, the big phone, well then guess what? You have your answer though, because the GPU, especially with all the new GPU and with the button that they're doing here, I think that the Honor Note 10 is clearly going to outperform the very mid-range 636 chip in kind of GPU performance. So if gaming is something that you value greatly, well, maybe it's worth forking over double the price. But is it really worth double the price for a slightly smoother gameplay? I don't think so. I don't know why, like, you know, the extreme, like, why do you have to play the game on such extreme settings when you can just play it at the best settings for your device? And if that's your thinking, then you're totally fine with the Mi Max 3. This is more than enough power for your gaming needs as well. I am pretty sure of that. Case closed. Now let's go right into audio. And obviously this video is getting super long, so appreciate all your kind of patience here, guys, as I get through this. But I'm just gonna do a quick comparison here. Now, I did have some questions about audio that I've been getting, and one of them was, how is the kind of the headphone performance, the USB dongle performance? From my experience, it's been pretty good. I think the sound, especially, I was just using some Apple AirPods, so some ear pods, the wired ones, and it sounded good to me. I mean, I think as much to say about the earpods as it was to the Huawei. The volume was fine. I think in some cases though, like I've noticed on my Pixel, the volume never got as loud as it did on the iPhone, and it doesn't get as loud on this phone as it did on the iPhone, but I think overall it still gets loud enough. And obviously here, for all you headphone jack lovers, well, that is not even a question you need to ask on the Mi Max 3. So that is no worries right there. And in terms of audio performance, I think that is a pretty great situation for these. So let's do now the quick test here of audio between these two. The speaker is kind of where it's at. That's what I want to hear right now, and just kind of see if the Wi-Fi is going to comply with me here, because the Wi-Fi is being kind of a jerk right now. Okay, here goes one last shot at this. Okay, there you go. And I'm going to put this at 100%. That's on the Honor Note 10. I'll switch back to the Mi Max 3, 100%. Back to the Honor Note 10. I don't know why that's doing that, but there you go. Definitely louder, punchier. Definitely punchier. And man, this audio performance has been a disaster, so I'm going to leave it at that. I think, honestly, the sound quality on the Mi Max 3 is great. It is not going to let you down. The speakers are good enough, I would say, for most users. And honestly, once again, it's one of those situations where if you just happen to run in to your buddy who has the Honor Note 10 and he's going to say, my speakers are better than yours, well, he's probably right, because look at this. Got that dual firing. And the thing I noticed there was that the speaker output was very similar on both sides. So yeah, I mean, in terms of actual audio performance, you got punchier sounds and just louder sounds on this Honor Note 10. I think this one takes the cake in the audio category. And so lastly, guys, just a quick kind of word about camera performance. And obviously, as you know this already, I have not tested the cameras out fully on the Honor Note 10, but I will mention one thing that I've been kind of experiencing with this phone, and that is the speaker. The speaker on this phone is like blowing it. It's having some major problems. That is why I'm kind of stalling here to do my video and photo comparison between these two. There's something going on. I'm going to play to you guys a few clips here I did the other day, and you tell me if you hear this. It's almost like a staticky sound in the playback of the audio with this phone. Listen to this. Here's front-facing video on the Honor Note 10. I mean, it looks okay overall, but I don't know, man. The audio, the speaker kind of playback on this is pretty terrible right now. I'm gonna have to look into this one, guys. I have no idea. And there you go, guys. Like it was the same thing on the way back. And this is rear-facing video on the Honor Note 10. Let's see if you moving flags there. I'm gonna zoom in. The audio isn't sounding that great. I wonder what's going on. Yeah, so you saw it there, guys. I mean, something is going on with the audio of the Honor Note 10, and I think I'm going to have to do some more research into it. I haven't fully looked in, but if anyone else is having this issue with this phone, obviously I'm probably one of the earliest ones to have it, but I would be curious to hear what some other reviewers are saying about it. But there is some staticky issue. I will be proceeding with that camera review, no less. Probably not today because it's absolutely pouring here today, but I will be doing a full camera comparison between these two phones in the way I normally do, same shots day and night, and see how it goes. But yeah, just like right off the bat, if you haven't seen my Singapore coverage, my kind of Mi A2 versus Mi Max 3 video comparison, go check it out, because I'm definitely really happy with how that video turned out, and the Mi Max 3 performed really admirably in those shots. The Mi Max 3, man, and this was in really tough conditions. Really tough conditions you see there. The Mi Max 3 did a great job, a really great job, and I was really happy to see like how wonderfully it performed in such low light settings with a lot of dynamic range issues, a lot of challenging issues. Who knew an aquarium was such a great place for for a photo comparison? I wish I could almost go back there and kind of test these two phones out, but I will find another venue for that, guys. But stay tuned for that camera comparison will be coming very soon. Stay tuned for part 2 of this epic Mi Max 3 versus Honor Note 10 video. See you in a bit.